the Icons of Real Estate podcast, the flagship show of the #1 real estate podcast network, where real estate agents come to grow. Whether you're looking to scale your business, expand your network, or stay sharp with insider knowledge, you found your go-to daily dose of real estate gold. Our hosts sit down with the industry's top producers and rising stars, sharing raw stories, winning strategies, and the real lessons that create icons. With over 500 episodes and 70-plus shows in our network, we're not just another podcast. We're your competitive edge in real estate. Tune in, level up. Become an icon of real estate.
Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Icons of Real Estate podcasts. Our guest today is Josh Jerman, one of Maui's top realtors for over 20 years. He's closed record-breaking luxury deals, ranked #1 in Maui, and is known for his deep commitment to community. From starter homes to 28 million estates, Josh brings unmatched local knowledge, patience, and purpose to his business. Josh, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on today. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure, our pleasure. I even put on a Wayne shirt here just for you. No, I'm kidding.
Ben.
I do wear a Wayne shirts every other day. Of course, today had to be one of those days. And Josh, you've been in real estate for 21 years now, all in Hawaii, your home. Do you remember what drew you to real estate, like straight out of the university?
I do. It was a mentor of mine who changed the direction of my life. I'd finished university, got a couple of degrees, and then had come back to Maui just temporarily. And during my time back here, a gentleman who used to be chief strategist for a big tech company in Asia did like a career visioning session with me. And after it, he said, "I think you're making the wrong decision by leaving the island again to go get an MBA." He looked at me and he said, "Maui's your love and Maui's your home. And you've expressed that. And why don't you look at doing something that you can do as a career here?" And his insight was either to get into real estate, to get into construction and development, or to get into hospitality. And of those, real estate is what drew me in. And so I've been involved in this since my early 20s, and it's been a great career. And it's really allowed me to have the life I've wanted, to have a family and children in the place where I grew up. And it's been just a great opportunity all these years.
Nice. Awesome stuff. And it's even when you mentioned the MBA, there's a lot of people that sometimes they shelter themselves in studies because they're afraid to go out there, so they go through a bachelor's. It's like, so what now? It's like, oh, I'm going to do my master's degree. So, oh, what now? I'm going to do my doctorate, and they're always pushing up kind of the opportunity to actual work. Of course, education is a very important resource in our upbringings. But still, there's a lot of people that use that to hide away from actually doing the work. And it's great that you just jumped head first there.
Yeah, you make a very good point. I'm very comfortable in education, and I always did well academically in school growing up, and then again very well in my university studies. And it's a comfortable place for me to be. And so it did sort of shake me up when this mentor approached me, and he just sent me on this different direction. And he made the comment that I bet no one else will ever tell you this, but I don't think getting an MBA is the right thing for you. And I was like, okay. And the reason why it wasn't the right thing is because he saw that education trajectory as causing me to leave the islands. And then he said I'd be lucky if it would be 3 decades before I came back here. So yeah, set me on a path. And in all the years of my real estate career, though, too, like I've really looked at education as a central focal point of my business, and like I'm always learning in my business. Again, I'm very comfortable in doing that, and my style and sort of working with my clients too is very much education based as well. And that's something that has really sort of struck a core with me, and that I practice in my day-to-day practice.
Nice. And you've gone from your early career, grind to actually, breaking some records. What are some of the turning points in building your business?
Yeah, I think something that, I was always have been focused on is looking at where the best opportunity is in a particular market and at that point in time, and really putting in the hours and the time and trying to understand where the market is trading, understand who the buyers and sellers are in a given market. And from that standpoint, have then tailored my business to sort of what the market of the moment is. Yeah, over the years, as I've built my business, I've looked at what the market of the moment is, and then I've tailored my business and my strategy to what the trends are at that time. And so looking back a number of years, when I first got into the business, we were in an upward swing in the market. There was a lot of activity in resort sales. And so I worked in a resort environment, at the shops at Wailea, high-end luxury location, and had put a lot of energy into that while at the same time growing my business in the more rural and the residential areas of the island, because I did grow up here. And so I have a connection to the entire island. And so I grew the business in those areas at the time. And then the market shifted in 2007, and I went into working short sales and bank foreclosures and representing those elements of the business and put in long hours. At the time, I just had my first child. I'd usually get up at 3:30, 4 in the morning, and I'd go to the office and I'd put 14-hour days in. And sort of those long early days in the business, and at that time, really allowed my business to then grow and sort of work at that juncture. Coming out of that, I shifted into working more luxury sales in addition to just what I was doing day to day. And so I tailored my marketing. I also sort of engaged with any clients with who own properties that were luxury properties and who were transacting at that level. I made new friends. I attended charity events. I picked up golf. I did these things that sort of worked well with the luxury market. And then through that time, then that business started to grow. And once it did, I started to get more and more referrals then from my luxury clientele. And really, I can attribute the growth of my luxury business to a handful of early clients who repeatedly bought and sold real estate, and then also were happy to refer me to their friends, family, and colleagues because they believed in me, trusted me, and many had said that I was the best representative of luxury real estate with whom they'd worked. And so they would naturally then refer me to their friends and family.
Yeah, trust, trust is everything. And if you do a good job with one person, you never know how many doors can that open for you. And in such a small community as you were living in, where everyone knows everyone, reputation, it is everything. So what's your philosophy when it comes, and your know-how when it comes to maintaining trust over time?
Yeah, a key element to it is always being honest. So whether there's good news to share or bad news to share, just coming from a place that is integrous and always just being transparent with my clients. There are often times when there are difficult conversations that have to be had. I think sort of through those and acknowledging those, you become closer with your clients and friends as well. And then that's how then trust and rapport is built. And they know that you're not only going to give them the positive side or the pros of something, but also the cons, and are really looking out then for their best interests. And once they recognize that, then the whole process becomes so much easier because you don't have to really do a deep dive into every situation because there's already a foundation of trust there. And so it's easier to make decisions, it's more efficient to make decisions, and there's a respect that is there between myself and my clients then that will carry forward then in the future transactions that we do as well.
Yeah, I think people say that a good indicator of trust is that the less they read the contract in front of you, the more they trust you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're also
I think
known
too,
for your...
along those lines, I think too, there's something that like over time when there is trust, the clients ask more for one's opinion and their own perspective and input around decisions to be made. They'll ask the question, do you think this is a good decision for me? Do you think this is the right property for me? And those sorts of questions are really telling and are helpful, and I value the relationships with those people that I do work with.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a big transaction that that you're helping them with, so it is understandable. Do you deal a lot with local people, or do you also deal with people that are actually interested in buying their home in Hawaii, right? There's a lot of second home owners, a lot of potential investors. What is how is your clientele?
Yeah, it's always been important to me to work sort of equally with both residents here and people who see Hawaii as a resort and second home market. And so my business is very balanced. I appreciate the community where I live, the people that I grew up with. And I mean, I'm a member of our community. I have had a couple of really beautiful homes and properties here that are special to me. And I like engaging in being a part of the sales that happen in our community, in addition to those then in the resort second home areas. I mean, and over the years too, I mean, I continue to work sort of all price points, uh, listings that are sort of at the entry level here that are around 500,000 or so, all the way up to 75 million, and then everything in between. So, and I like the variety that the business provides too. If I was sort of always pigeonholed just doing one type of real estate, I think I'd get bored. And so working with a variety of different types of properties in different areas with the different people involved is what keeps it interesting for me. And yeah, and I'll work I'll work condos, I'll work ranches. I've done some project representation. I've been involved in some real estate development. I've been involved in land subdivision and been involved in some commercial sales. I was involved in the sale of a little community shopping center a couple of years ago. That was interesting. So I appreciate learning through the processes then, and then all the different the variety and the education that comes through that.
And that requires quite a skill in terms of adaptability as well, and being flexible even to what the client might want, right? Even the client might come to you wanting a condo and ends up getting a resort type home. And you mentioned those. We talked about your record breaking transactions. You mentioned the 75 million there. You have an opportunity now that some people might be listening. What is your, let's say, like your highest point listing right now? And I'll give you the opportunity now to promote it a little bit.
Yeah, my highest point listing right now is 75 million, and it's an approximately 3,600 acre ranch that's on the east side of the island. It's called Hana Ranch. It is comprised of 37 parcels of land. There's a ranch house there. There's ranch headquarters. It's just an incredible legacy property. It's also in a town that is special to me. I used to own a home in Hana Town, and it's about as beautiful of a place as you can ever imagine. And it's green hills and white sand beaches, and it's as if you're stepping back in time when you go there. And the ranch as well is an opportunity for conservation. We'd like it to go to a good steward of the property who will continue the legacy of the ranch and perhaps even conserve a portion of it in perpetuity as well. And I'd love to see that be what the next owner of the ranch then brings in.
Nice. Even with as you're saying this, we can have like the videos of the ranch coming in and you there running through the fields as well. But man, yeah, that's incredible. And like going, from dealing with that with such an incredible listing, like 75, which has a lot of pieces to consider, because it's not just somewhere that you go and live, right? It extends to the lifestyle and the reputation as well. And going to also be selling, 500,000 homes or condos or something like that. Like, yeah, you do need to be able to, I wouldn't say show two faces, right? Because it's the same face, but it needs to be seen by probably, two different sets of people.
Very true. Yeah, very true. And we have been exposing the ranch to an international clientele, and I really want to find the right buyer for it who can care for the land and love the land. The current owner of the property has done just that, and it's now time for the next person to come in and do the same.
Nice. Well, if someone contacts you because they heard you on the Icons of Real Estate podcast, we can then talk about a commission after. So, you're known for
Always love
your
to plug.
community. You're known for your community involvement, as you were saying. From local charities to the PTA. How much of a role does that play in your business success?
It's always been something that's been at my core. I started a foundation 20 years ago and have supported education through that. Being an island community here, we have a scenario where many of our brightest young adults will finish high school, they'll go to college, and then they won't return to Hawaii. And
Mhm.
so I found it important to support college education for those who have a goal of using their education and using their life knowledge of having grown up here to return to the islands and contribute to our community. And so I started a scholarship that is aligned with that principle and just made the 20th year in doing that. And then additionally, too, there are so many different ways in which we can give. We can be members of committees, we can volunteer our time, we can also donate money too. And through each of those things, it makes our community stronger. And I think being a real estate broker and being involved in working with all different types of people, there's an opportunity to then introduce people to charities. Many of my clients have introduced me to different opportunities to invest and to give and to support as well. And I'm always open with that. And I think that it just allows for a more enriched life. And it also sets an example for my children too. I have two children, ages 14 and 17, and really like to lead by example with respect to that. And so they too are involved in our community and in volunteerism as well, which I find to be really important and rewarding to see as a parent too, that my children have really adopted that.
Yeah, you're thinking like, yes, I made it.
Yeah.
The
My
people.
daughter's just about to go off to college and seeing her in her graduation speeches and some recognition that she received and what different teachers and mentors of her said about her. I was in tears for, I mean, days at these different presentations because I was like, oh, she's such a good person and and she's ready to now move on and live independently as well. And so it was a proud moment for me.
Fly the coop. Nice, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, like being involved in the community is crucial for real estate agents. I think it's an ongoing also effort of humanizing this profession as well, because sometimes it can be perceived as someone that is going around boundaries or harassing people or something like that, and they forget, it's human beings, and their work is to help people find their dream home. And there are ways that you can do it in a, I wouldn't say, not in a lazy way, but in a less
Mhm.
effortless way. Like, for example, when you say donate money, okay, that's easy. Hey, here's $10,000 to there, and then you can say, oh, I'm part of the community, right? But I think what you did, you went one step ahead on actually creating a foundation, with your own name, and actually putting your hands on it, and not just your money. So that's pretty impressive, man.
Thank you.
Uh, what's one piece of advice you would give to someone who wants to build a real estate business in a small, close-knit community like
Yeah, something that I would recommend is being yourself and being true to yourself because I mean, people will see you at the store, people will see you at events, the beach, and you have to be consistent to who you are when you're in a small community. And you have to be accountable too. You have to do a good job. You have to be responsive. You have to care because in a small community, reputation is everything. And if you have a good reputation, then one's business will end up snowballing. If you stray from being consistently honest and ethical, then that becomes your reputation and you'll see your business diminish, or you'll see just working with a few clients who seek out that type of person. But the majority of people do not want that type of person and they want someone who's really integrous.
Yeah, I don't imagine anyone going to say, "Oh, I'm really looking for someone ingenuine, someone that will lie to me on the spot and it will treat me badly." No,
No,
it's
no,
the
yeah.
You're not going to find a client.
Once in a while, you get the person who says, "I want a shark" or "I want a bulldog." I mean, that's not me, and that's such a small market segment, though, that and there's many other ways to negotiate and to reach success without behaving that way as well. I think you just need to be more mature and I'd say more intelligent to be able to do business in a way that is better all around.
Exactly. And finally, Josh, like what's next for you? You know, any big goals or projects you're excited about in this year?
Yeah, I've been excited about continuing to grow my business. I see myself sort of constantly in a growth phase, and I have expanded the small team that I work with. I have some great colleagues, a couple of just excellent brokers that are my business partners, and an operations manager, transaction manager, and really putting effort into our team and the growth of it. I certainly have the intention of keeping us small so we can provide just really close and direct customer service with our clientele. I always pride myself on being available all the time as well. I mean, almost to a fault, but I think that's important because I care about my clients. And so really the growth of our team and continuing to look at different opportunities in our market here, how to represent different types of properties, more properties, and being aligned with sort of what the next growth phase in our market will be. We've been in a slower market the last 3 years, and I find myself challenged, and I like the challenge, but I'm also looking forward to then being prepared for when the market is in an upward swing again and business is smoother and is easier again.
Nice. And hopefully in the next few weeks and months, you also get to close down that 75 million listing.
Yeah, I sure hope so as well. And I'm feeling very positive about it as well. Just last week, closed the highest transaction of the year on Maui thus far, which was at 28,560,000.
Wow.
And so that would be a good segue then into doing this next one.
Man, amen. I wish you the best for that, Josh. Thank you so much for coming on today's episode. It's always good to get a perspective from people that are living in different types of communities that we maybe see in LA or New York or Miami or even in Alabama, right? But we're very happy to have you here, and we wish you the best. And I'll see you guys next week.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Loved what you heard? Subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your fellow agents. It helps more agents find the show and tells us what you want more of. And hey, want to get featured on multiple podcasts like Icons or even find epic guests for your podcast? Check out The Hub, the ultimate guesting platform in real estate. Link in the description. Catch you next time. Keep crushing it out there.